In any web application, you must have complete security over the data. For this, you need to implement two main security features: authentication and authorization. Authentication means only those users are allowed to sign into a website which has authenticated username and password, while authorization is a security mechanism with which you can check the credentials of users. Authentication and authorization in MVC. Like any other web application, MVC also allows you to implement both authentication and authorization. There is an attribute called Authorize attribute which allows you to restrict user access to MVC applications. In any MVC application, when a user enters a URL, the request is forwarded and executed by a controller class, as discussed in the previous lesson. So it means there is an ASPX page for every URL, even though only the developer knows it, but there is a security hole. Therefore, it is important for you to separate the methods from the ASPX pages, which should not be allowed to call by unauthorized users. To overcome this problem, the first thing to do is define authorized users. By using authorize attribute, only authorized users will be able to invoke the controller method. You can use this attribute on a single controller method or on a complete controller class. One main advantage of using this attribute is that it is inheritable, which means that if you apply it onto the base controller class, every method derived from the controller class will be bound of authentication. Authorize attribute is not only confined to authentication, it can also help you in implementing authorization. If a user is not authorized, then this attribute will not invoke the controller method and the user will be redirected to the login page. Authorize attribute is the only security tool available in MVC, which allows you to implement both authentication and authorization. Whenever authorize attribute fails to execute, the user sees HTTP 401 error in the web browser. Why authentication and authorization? In this modern era, where hacking and cybercrimes has increased, it is essential for you to secure your web application. Your web application can easily be cracked if you do not apply proper techniques, authentication and authorization in it. Therefore, it is important for you to integrate your MVC app with proper security methods, so that only privileged and authenticate users have access to it.